I'm John Paul Morabito. Welcome to my home studio. I am defiantly and stubbornly a weaver. In my practice, weaving is the holism through which I'm thinking. This is my floor loom. We've been together for 16 years, making this my longest relationship. And currently, I'm dressing the loom for a large-scale glittering tapestry. It's being woven with 2 warps, so the darker threads are cotton warp and the lighter threads are wool, and these will be used to define the figures and the motifs within the tapestry itself. Magnificat is a series of tapestries that I began weaving in the summer of 2018. I take Italian Renaissance paintings of the Madonna and Child and remediate them as digitally woven tapestries. The process involves translating original images of the paintings into jacquard loom files. This kind of acts as a sort of underpainting, but also serves as the scaffolding for future improvisation. And so I'm working with a set of 6 different colors of weft yarns that I'm changing throughout the process of weaving. And the particular construction of this textile is fully dependent upon the mixture of color to articulate the woven form. And this way, I'm able to change the form as it's being woven. So it's not an exact replica of the painting, and it's a form that can never be produced again, making it a woven live form. And so an idea that the woven object or the woven tapestry is a form that is produced immediately in real time. I'm interested in how this can also be a way to push these images into new directions. So a lot of the figures kind of melt into the background. There's a sense of clarity that is both present and also lost within the images themselves. Throughout this work, I'm thinking about the relationship I have to my own Italian Americanness and my relationship to Catholicism. And I think it's fair to say that at best, Catholicism has disavowed queer people. And so with this work, I'm wrestling with that space. So Italian people have been Catholic for 2,000 years, and that's not a legacy that I'm able to let go of, and nor should I let go of that. And so with this work, I'm thinking about how to queer Catholicism from within. And so I'm looking at a duality of aesthetic sensibility. So the of synthetic opulence of Italian American immigrants that are mirrored by queer aesthetic sensibilities. And I often think about the way in which, like, my grandmother's domestic recreation of the Vatican is very similar to the glittering, exaggerated glamour that we see in drag performance. I think about these works very much as manifestations of drag, not so focused on drag as gender play, but they're dealing with these tracings of the body and a kind of encoding of one form onto another. So the ideologies of Catholicism are manifested onto the thread bodies that are being woven. I'm looking at these works as manifestations of the phenomena known as temporal drag, and this idea that anachronism is a kind of undertow that draws the past into the present moment to reimagine its possibilities. So in this work, I've woven a textile that is predominantly fringe, and I've been beading the fringe with thousands upon thousands of glass and gold beads. And I'm really interested in positioning this kind of glittering form as a mournful glittering surface so that its decadence speaks to a fall. It's an act of mourning. In this work, the methodical stringing of beads is, for me, a reference to the Catholic tradition of the rosary, so the idea of rubbing one's fingers on the beads of the rosary as you utter a prayer. In this way, I'm responding to this moment as a queer person whose own queerness was defined through the shadow of a plague. So while I wasn't on the front lines of the AIDS crisis, I was too young, my coming into my queerness was defined by HIV and AIDS. In these works, I'm specifically referencing Felix Gonzáles Torres, an artist who was bearing witness to the queer humanity of the AIDS epidemic at the height of its crisis, and that as the virus ultimately claimed his life. Within a tapestry or within any textile, the fringe is this liminal space. It is the space that exists between the tapestry and the wall. And I think about this as a particularly queer orientation or a queer positionality.